You know, contrary to popular belief, I don't go digging for drama. I have things to do, videos to make, and companies to run, but somehow I feel like the Jack Reacher of guitar YouTube, in that stupid industry drama, continues to find me. So let me start from the beginning. I was just browsing on the Roof Guitars Instagram recently. Roof Guitars is a company you may know from their carbon fiber composite electric guitars in some really wild designs, and one especially wild design that sort of looked like it was a rusted iron guitar or something, because they can make some really, really crazy shit with their finishes and carbon fiber and whatnot, received a comment that, boy, I just couldn't ignore. And it came from a man by the name of Jim Cara, who is in charge of a company called Cara Guitars. And under the photo of this $4,000 to $6,000 Roof Guitars custom build, this man commented, and I quote, "Hunk of shit, I make the most insane guitars in the world." And so who wouldn't click on the man's profile to see if that holds any truth whatsoever? And the first thing I saw on the Cara Guitars Instagram page was, and I wish I was kidding, a refinished Epiphone Les Paul special. I originally thought it wasn't just a refinished Epiphone, but instead something that is just shaped exactly like an Epiphone Les Paul special. But after looking at the close-ups of it, and also sending the images around to pretty much every luthier that I know, it quickly became clear that yes, this is just an Epiphone Les Paul that had been refinished, and also the headstock had the crown shaved off of it and reshaped into sort of a just convex semicircle shape. And this is apparently the new 2025 Tracy Guns guitar. Now, Tracy Guns, I believe, is the guitar player of a band called LA Guns. I'm really not sure, that's not my kind of music. Who gives a shit? But having seen that now, I would like to call back to the comment from earlier, as well as Jim Cara's Instagram bio. I've made the most recognized, filmed, and famous guitars in the world. Oh, this job really has its moments. And so I just saw myself forced to say something, and I didn't want to make this a video originally whatsoever. But what I did was I took a screenshot of his original comment on the Roof Guitars post, reposted his original poorly refinished Epiphone Les Paul into my Instagram story, and wrote this. And sure, it could be argued that tagging him in that story was not necessary, but you know? And so not long after, I received a message from Mr. Jim Cara himself. Wow, why didn't you post the video guitars, or the pinball guitars, or the stained glass guitars, or the flamethrower guitars, or the hologram guitars? Besides, this guitar is my build with my headstock. Look at Cara 10th Avenue or jimcara.com. Why didn't you post the chrome guitars, or the John 5 guitars, or the Ace Frehley guitars, or the Paul Stanley? Jeez. No, okay, well, everybody, let's just settle down for a second, have some diazepam, take a Valium, sit down for a second, everything's gonna be alright. But then the next thing he sent me was a screenshot from the Cara Guitars website, on which he offers what he calls the Invisible Man guitar for $8,000. Okay, $8,000 is a lot of things. $8,000 is about 2.5 of my camera, a decent used car, a really, really nice wristwatch. $8,000 buys you a lot of things. The Cara Invisible Man guitar should not be one of them. Especially when one single Google Lens entry of just a screenshot of the Invisible Man immediately prompts you with about 17 different links to DHgate, AliExpress, Alibaba, Wish.com, Temu, and eBay. On all of which, across the board, this guitar is being sold for no more than $300, usually closer to $250. And I knew this before even looking that up, because last year in October, I was in Shanghai at Music China, and so infinitely many of those Chinese OEM guitar factories that had booths at that convention offered something just like this, in a variety of different shapes. And by pure coincidence, all of these matched up exactly to the Cara, down to the LED color, inlay shape, headstock color, positioning of electronics, everything matched up 100,000%. And so, being who I am, I reacted rather sarcastically to this, and then he told me to contact him and give him a phone call or whatever, and that he wanted to associate. I don't want to associate with you. What? And then it kind of got a little bit weird, because at this point, he began insisting that he had carved this Les Paul out of plexiglass himself, which I just know for a fact is not true, because it is the exact same thing that is being sold on Temu and AliExpress. You did not make that. I'm so sorry. And as proof of this, I suppose, he sent me screenshots of a BC Rich Ironbird style guitar that had also been carved out of a slab of plexiglass, which is about as far from evidence for having built that Les Paul as it gets. And this man insisted that he had never seen that plexiglass Chinese junk Les Paul before, but then very quickly pivoted from I made this by hand and carved it out of a slab of plexiglass to it is made by World Music in Korea, which, if you don't know, World Music is the biggest guitar manufacturing facility in all of South Korea. If you have any major brand name guitar made in Korea, odds are it was made at World Music. And this not only means that this guy is not getting into World Music because he would be last in queue behind Schecter and literally everybody else, World Music also just doesn't make acrylic guitars. But he didn't seem to grasp anything that I had said up until this point, because my only point was the insane asinine level of arrogance this man has exhibited online, while also poorly refinishing Epiphones for a living. And so now that I pointed out the pivot from I made the plexiglass guitar to World Music Korea made it, he sent me a horrible, awful looking, clearly Chinese or Indonesian made single cut guitar with his branding on it, saying, no, these Les Pauls are made from World Music. I cut clear guitars all the time. But just 5 minutes before that, he said my clear LP are made by World Music in Korea and I designed them. Which, what did you design? It's a Les Paul. Gibson designed it. And so I told him, dude, you have no reason to bullshit me, alright? I'm not saying be honest with me, I'm just saying don't do whatever this is right now, which is insisting that something I clearly caught you buying on Alibaba for $300 and then reselling for $8,000. Not that anybody's buying that piece of shit. All I did was call you out on that, and all you have to do is not say, no, I built it, no, actually Korea built it, no, I did, wait, hold it, fucking, am I Korea? All I did was call you out for being a little arrogant bitch in other guitar brands' comments, right? Going on the Roof Guitars Instagram page, a company that, while their stuff isn't necessarily something that I would own 7 of, I sincerely respect how they've built themselves up in the past couple of years, worked hard, attended trade shows every single time without fail, and just completely knocked it out of the park with all of their builds. Going on the page of a brand like that and calling what they've built a hunk of shit when all you have to your name is 2 Chinese guitars, one of which you refinished and for some reason glued the nut on so poorly that it looks like your infant son did it. That is not cool. And also, that horrible, awful looking single cut guitar does not look remotely up to standard for anything that World Music Korea has ever put out in the history of that facility existing and manufacturing guitars. And I feel like the fact that I brought up the Roof comment a couple of times led him to believe that I worked for the company, which I do not. I have zero affiliation with Roof. I've been in conversation with them here and there about maybe making a video together at some point, but I'm not affiliated with Roof Guitars, the company, whatsoever. Not one bit. And so, while he was sort of half-heartedly apologizing here, which I don't understand. Like, don't apologize. What are you apologizing to me for? As soon as I pointed out that I work neither with nor for Roof Guitars, what I assume happened is he clicked on my profile for the first time, saw that I'm a YouTuber, and perhaps even clicked on the link in my bio to find a plethora of videos of me calling out guitar manufacturers doing sketchy shit. And so the next message I got was point me to my comment and I'll remove it. Well, no, actually, I did receive a message before that saying that the Epiphone in question was not an Epiphone, it was a build your own guitar kit that looks like an Epiphone. But this was sent in vanish mode, probably in an effort to, not have me put it in a video. But I'm quick with the screenshot hand. The self-proclaimed guitar builder to the stars, well, actually I don't know if it was self-proclaimed, because that is also the title of his 4-minute little PBS special, so children and boomers can watch him make guitars for Gene Simmons. And of course anybody who works closely with Gene Simmons of Kiss, the inventor of such groundbreaking products as Moneybag Cola, Moneybag Crypto Baby Apparel, or the $23,000 VIP concert ticket that allows you to basically be his janitor for an afternoon, can only be incredibly respectable. This is a video free of any substance. It is just a video calling this guy out. It's not even a call to action to not buy his things, because it's not like anybody was tempted, but I just don't know where some people get the ego from. People call me arrogant. I've done nothing like this. I don't think I'm a big deal at all. This dude says he builds the most groundbreaking guitars on the planet. What is happening? You bought this on AliExpress. You admitted to me that that Les Paul Special was a build-your-own guitar kit. Are you in the head? What? And why did PBS at any point in time allocate 4 minutes of broadcast time to it? Nobody between the ages of 7 and 89 watches PBS. I'm so sorry. This is such an unprofessional and just bullshit video. I just couldn't not make a video about it, right? To me, that story was going to expire after 24 hours. There was no timeline post on Instagram about it. It was just going to be, one and done. That was just kind of a throwaway story. I think I posted it like between sets at the gym. So given that that was initially my intention with it, sometimes it really is better to shut your mouth, because now you have this, and this stays here forever. Oops. It is currently 11 p.m., which means that 7 hours from now, I need to be in the car en route to a trade show in Frankfurt that I need to be at for work. I have prep work to do still, but I just couldn't go to sleep with this weighing on my chest, because for some reason, nobody in this industry knows how to be normal. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.